Lovely spot. Lovely spot down here, Fort Belvoir. A little bit of history. Used to be called Camp Humphreys. Fort Belvoir is kind of an anomaly in the Army system because it's one of the very few Army posts not actually named after a war hero.
Like Braxton Bragg.
Like Braxton Bragg or some of the others. I didn't say for which side they fought for, right? Like Fort Lee, for example, and others. But anyway, Fort Belvoir is just named after the family that was here, the Belvoir plantation. Like a typical English aristocrat, they picked a French word for their home, Belvoir, a beautiful view of the Chesapeake Bay, which is what this is. So the fort was named after the Belvoir plantation. So enough history. Just a couple things I wanted to put out. I wanted to thank Todd Post for, he's over there, you can't miss him, for getting everything organized as far as the Dixie Bones, beans and chicken and barbecue. There's still plenty left. We got plenty of food, so that means that some of you will want to take some of this home and make leftovers. Like I like to have leftovers for a few days.
You don't need it.
No. Yeah, I don't need it. That's my wife Sylvia over there with the smart aleck comment. So thanks, Todd, for arranging this and getting everything together. I wanted to put out a couple little things of publicity, if I may. Our next meeting is September 18th at Fort Ward, which is our traditional meeting spot. We try to meet there at least once a year, sometimes more often. In Alexandria, Fort Ward Museum and Restored Civil War Fort, Pensacola, Washington. So that's September 18th. Mr. Cole, Dave Cole, who's a longtime chapter member, and I believe a member of the company fellow. I believe he's a company fellow, Dave Cole. He's going to do a presentation on the 1910 equipment. So it's a what they call a material presentation with all the touchy and feely, show and tell equipment and all that stuff. And because 2010 is the centennial of the 1910 issue equipment for the U.S. Army, so he's going to do a little spiel on that at Fort Ward. Prior to that, we have another opportunity on September 11th, of all days. The National Capital Model Soldier Society is having their annual show for soldiers, little painted soldiers, you know, that we all play with when we were kids, and some of us still do. Now that we're not kids anymore, but what's that old saying? The only difference between men and boys?
Price of their toys.
Price of their toys. So, this is an opportunity for us to set up a table. It's not going to cost anything, from what I understand.
That's my understanding.
We get a free table. We get to put our stuff out there, our membership brochures. George Franks has brought a whole bunch of brochures and applications and things, and we can display something, but it's basically recruiting for us to get new members. So I would like to support this. I pretty much already committed that we are interested, but I wanted to see just kind of get a show of hands if you would like to come maybe for an hour or two that day, Saturday. It's in Annandale, so it's not too far from here. I got some more little information sheets. You're welcome to take one and pass them around.
Good folks there.
So that's kind of one of the things we do to get. I'm also very active in the B&O Railroad Museum. I'm somewhat of a train buff as well as a history buff. And we're seeking actual artifacts, Civil War railroad artifacts, on loan. We'll give them back to you. The B&O is embarking on an ambitious 5-year program with the 150th anniversary of the Civil War. They're going to transform a major part of their roundhouse in Baltimore to focus on the trains from the Civil War. So it's $1 million effort, and they've got folks coming in and a rotating exhibit over 5 years. So I'm going to pass this around. So if you have some artifacts you'd like to loan or know some people We'll have Civil War training paraphernalia. There's the information. There's the curator, Dave Shackelford, and Courtney Wilson. Some of you know him, the curator, overall, actually director of the museum. So we're looking for stuff like that. And they will figure prominently in our 2012 annual meeting, which will also be in Baltimore. First time in about 25 years or so. I think 1983 was the last time the CMH had their annual meeting in Baltimore. So we're going to be at the Tremont Hotel. That's already been booked. It's on St. Paul and Calvert Street. It's in the Mount Vernon area. It's a few walking blocks from the Inner Harbor, but there's free shuttle. Takes you right down to the water. So it's a beautiful hotel. It's the old, any of you are Masons or no Masons, it's the old Maryland Masonic Temple. Been lovingly restored. All the rooms are restored back about 100 years with the stained glass, with the Masonic symbols all around. It's very, very mysterious, but very historical and very beautiful venue for an annual meeting. So we're going to be at the Tremont Hotel in 2012 in Baltimore. So Billy and I are excited about that, and a few others are excited about that. Let's see, what else do I need to say?
Next meeting?
We talked about Fort Ward. After that, we don't have anything in October, but we do have the Lincoln Cottage in November at the Old Soldiers Home, which Pat has set up. Pat, you want to say anything about that?
Yeah, it sounds like a fun day. We're going to tour the Lincoln Cottage for about an hour. I think it's Saturday, November 20th is the date. I have to double check that. It got moved around a little bit. And that's been restored by the National Trust for Historic Preservation, multiple $1 million restoration. So that should be a really neat tour. And then after the tour, we're going to go to the Armed Forces Retirement Home and have lunch in their cafeteria. And then following lunch, one of the chapter members, Dr. Anita Henderson, is going to make a presentation on a Civil War soldier. It was actually a black woman cavalry soldier who rode, I think, with the 8th New York in disguise for multiple months. And so that promises to be a really interesting story. So that sounds like a great day. There's a $10 fee to tour the cottage, which I think is very reasonable, and there's a $7 fee per person to eat in the cafeteria, which is at your option. The good news there is it's all you can eat, so for $7 you can have a nice big lunch and then listen to Dr. Henderson and her presentation. So hope everyone will make an effort and try to come out for that. Thanks.
Anything on the outreach you want to mention?
Yeah, I'm still gathering information. Jeff gave me a whole bunch of good contacts concerning the bicentennial of the War of 1812 and the Baltimore area, but I'm still looking for any contacts, museums, historical sites that I can add to a database of potential field trips and tours in the future. So I'm slowly gathering information, and certainly if anyone has any ideas about, hey, this would be a great spot for the chapter to meet and to go to, email it to me and we'll add it to the list. Because we're always
How about that little fort out in the water,
spots.
in the middle of the harbor?
Yeah, a little fort out in the middle. Yeah,
Let's meet out there.
That would be a good one. Yeah.
Fort Carroll.
All we need is a boat.
Fort Carroll,
Fort Carroll.
built by Robert E. Lee.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Good suggestion.
Good. How about the treasurer's report? General Depew.
Thanks.
Sir.
Our most recent expenditure was for this affair, which has come to $223.75. Which leaves us in our treasury with a balance of $703.75. If any of you have not paid your chapter dues for this year, I will be happy to take your money now. It's $10. I'm trying to rebuild the treasury now to in the wake of our recent expenditures.